So I already introduced one of these, or yes, one of these methods for accessing the keys and values, the .items method. And let's just look at d.items. We used this in a for loop earlier, but let's kind of dig into it. Notice what this gives us. It gives us an items object, a dictionary items object, and that looks a lot like a list that is composed of tuples, right? So this first value of the items, the dict items object is a tuple that contains two values, Gandalf and wizard. So this is a reasonable approximation of a dictionary, but it's arbitrarily adding an order to it, and of course we can index this. So if I say sub-0, I guess I still want that print statement. If I do d.items sub-0, then sure enough, oh, my apologies. We have to actually cast this to a list in order to access it that way. So I'm casting d.items, the return of that, I'm casting to a list so that we can see that the first element in it is Gandalf, or the first element of that dict items object is a tuple that contains Gandalf and wizard as strings. So we can do that for d.items. Let's go ahead and look at a couple other methods. So there's the .items method, but maybe you only want the keys. So why don't we just go ahead and look at that. We can print d.keys, and we get a dictionary keys object with Gandalf, Frodo, Elrond, Sauron, Bilbo. Or we can do d.values, and we'll get wizard, hobbit, elf, burning eye, hobbit. We get a dict values object out of that. Now, as I showed before, we can use this for traversal. We can do something like for val in d.values. Let's just print the val. We can traverse this. Wizard, hobbit, elf, burning eye, hobbit. We can also check membership, because there are times where we may not want to check for membership in the entire dictionary. We want to check in the values. So if if hobbit in d.values, then let's print yay, the Shire. Yeah, all right. Yay, the Shire. Of course, it prints that because we can see we do have hobbit in the values. On the same token, we can check for membership in the keys explicitly, and we get yay, the Shire. So let's just verify something here. We can just do, we don't need .keys in this case, and we should get yay, the Shire. Now, what if we check for hobbit in D? We don't get anything. So by default, it's going to check membership if you do this syntax if hobbit in D, or if something in D. It's not going to check the values. If you want to explicitly check the values, you have to do .values. But essentially what this is doing is it's checking the keys. So you can be explicit, you can say d.keys if you're checking membership in the keys, or you can be implicit and you can say if hobbit in D, and that'll get you the same result. But if you want to check the values, you have to do it explicitly by saying if hobbit in D.values.